Of course, the day I want to go do something, it's raining. Car isn't exactly going according to plan. Shed is an absolute mess, too. 3D printer is still broken, and it's too broken for me to fix it for once. I'm gonna have to just design a new one. Here it is. Breaking the mold. Normally they don't show you the whole it being done thing first. Usually that's at the end. But I'm doing it first because I think this is so cool. Now, you may have noticed that a lot has changed since I made that first half of this, or first few seconds of this. It's been, like 6 months? Oops, my bad. It's been long enough for me to get a new microphone, which I hope sounds better, but then again, my shed acoustics suck. So, you know. Anyway, who cares? Cool 3D printer, right? It all starts with taking apart what's left of the old one. Except, it's not actually the old one. So what's so special about this thing? Well, I've built every part on it myself. Everything, I mean, I didn't forge the aluminum. I didn't do any of that. But every 3D printed part that's been designed and built by me. And you know what? I think that is exceptionally cool. That this printer truly is as custom as you can get. And you know what? I'm really proud of myself. Yeah. It's got some shortcomings, just like every printer might have. But I thought of a lot of things, and this works beautifully. Am I going to revolutionize Bedslingers? No, it's a dead-end evolution tree. But man, this thing is cool. Even if your linear rails are vertical and don't hold oil well, don't use grease. I learned it the hard way. These were disgusting and hard to clean off. But moving on, what I love about this printer is the fact that it's technically my first 3D printer. Or at least I like to think of it as that. It's a ship of Theseus. Theseus? How do you pronounce it? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is, the idea of this printer is incredibly old. There may be no parts of the original left, but this started out as my first 3D printer kit. I don't know how old I was. That was a long time ago. Maker Farm Pegasus 8-inch. Prusa i3 clone. Like, as simple as it could be. This thing looked like it was built out of trash, and I loved it. And, yeah. Somewhere along the line, it ended up looking like this. Well, it's not that complicated, and it's not like it's a mystery of what happened to it. What happened to it is it sat dormant for years because I got busy with other printers, and then I reactivated it, and then it was an old piece of junk by the time I had done that, and then it went through various retrofit stages, finally leading to this iteration. And the earlier printers were horrible. They were just built out of parts found on Thingiverse or poorly modified. This thing is 100% custom. I completely forgot to explain what the theme for this printer was. And if you haven't guessed already, it's complexity shifting. Now, I really don't want to get into what the actual definition of that is, but for me, personally, it means making a single part serve as many functions as possible, and, therefore, you need less parts. But it's also fun to think about it as just, condensing every failure point into one. Okay, admittedly that's not really how the system's supposed to work. I believe it's more correct to say you would pair a small number of insanely custom parts with a large number of normal off-the-shelf parts in order to optimize manufacturing. But, well, it's my garage. I can bend the rules. I should have put that explanation elsewhere. To be honest, this part of the printer is pretty boring. But, hear me out. So, the outer frame is actually going to double as the enclosure. Does that count? I hope it does. The best example of complexity shifting in this machine is the sort of X-Z axis hybrid weirdness, and whatever is going on with the print head. I'm not really sure. Awesome extruder though, really enjoying it. So, my plan is to use these as the spacers themselves. That's why I've drilled that hole in them. So I don't need to sacrifice those 90-degree pieces on meaningless stuff like this. If it would just focus. I should have tightened those rails from the center out like a canvas, stretch it properly, but who cares? So this is one of the really cool parts I was talking about. I call it the X carriage, and the belt tensioning system, the motor mount, the hot end mount, the linear rail mount, and the probe mount are all integrated into one piece. Yeah, it's kind of unnecessary, but then again, if it breaks, I can just print another one. There's no benefit to making this have any sort of redundancy whatsoever, and I think that's really cool. I am pretty proud of this belt system. It is very cool. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do it, but I don't care. I'm gonna need a secondary tensioner, however, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. And luckily, there's plenty of dead space to put a tensioner on this system. I really need to go get one of the ball end ones. See how the nut for the lead screw, as well as the pulley for the belt system, are all integrated into the x-axis? Now that is the optimization I'm talking about. Because it has flex, which is why I did that. So if something goes wrong, and for minor adjustments, oh, this is a lot smarter than I thought it was. And it runs decently with all the weight on there. Hell yeah. That'll fit. That's the pain. I hate doing this. These are totally over-engineered, but like, that's part of the fun. And it's got some really cool features. It's got a Duet 2 Wi-Fi, which was a mistake. I should have gotten the Ethernet. I still really wish I had a, what are they called? Like Duex 5 boards? I still wish I had one of those to pair with this, just because I would need more stepper inputs, because I want to do dual extruders and independent Z motors. But you know what? It'll run fine for now. That's an easy add-on, whatever. Everything is linear rails. It's got an orbiter extruder. It's got a slice engineering mosquito hot end. First generation mosquito. Yeah, it might be a second generation. I didn't get the initial run, but it's pretty old for one of these hot ends. It's got a BL touch. Disgusting BL touch. Oh my god. This thing is yellow. I don't know if I've burned it, or I mean I have burned it. It's been mounted way too close. And also the needle's bent, but as long as it's consistently bent, it really doesn't matter. It has a dual Y motor system for really heavy beds, using Chinese mystery motors. I have no clue what they are. It utilizes a honestly pretty horrible construction style where the outer frame is an enclosure, and it also has, well, technically not related to the printer, an entire fume extraction system, because I like carbon fiber nylon. I like nasty materials. I shouldn't be breathing those. I really, yeah, let's get those outside. That looks awesome. Oh, and its latest feature is a 24-volt conversion. I know, I was still rocking 12, like it was 2012. Can you believe that? Anyway, 24 volts with a custom magnetic heater bed. Very proud of that. And it actually wasn't the original plan for this printer. I had a normal bed on here up until a few days ago. So, you know, perfect time to re-record this. The DIY magnetic heated bed was just too cool not to get its own video, so I've separated that. However, I don't even use that anymore. I found something even cooler to play with. I'm basically printing on a 1/4 inch of G10 right now, which is, oh yeah, that's fun. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Let's just, you know, like, put the damn thing together, huh? I don't know about you, but personally, I've always enjoyed the 3D printer time-lapse where you can see the bed move over the ones where they use like Octoprint or something and pause it at a certain layer or a certain position in the layer. I don't know. It just makes it feel more like a machine. Like, I want to watch a video of a machine doing a cool thing. Yeah, I suppose it's neat when a part just sort of manifests, but I like printers. What can I say? Who cares about the parts? Believe it or not, this thing is actually making a shortened roof locking latch for my Miata because one side doesn't fit with the racing seats in there. And, yeah, that thing's been held on by ABS for years. That's awesome. Anyway, video's over. See you next time.